Giant FM and streaming live on the First Federal Facebook page.
Yes, indeed, it is a beautiful Friday morning, 64 degrees, the sun is shining. It's time for the First Federal program, and we've got Evan Gottschalk in the building.
Morning, Paul.
Good morning, sir.
It is a beautiful morning, and that is because today is First Federal's Community Appreciation Day.
Yes, it is.
And we always, we leave out last year, Tanner. We always, asterisk, deliver on the weather.
Yes.
I blame Tanner for last year.
Yeah.
You blame me, but I blame him. So
there was a rift in the atmosphere or something. But today is going to be beautiful, and we are going to have lunch outside First Federal from 11 to 2 for our official Community Appreciation Day.
All right.
You don't even have to be a customer to come enjoy lunch on us today.
Yeah, you just get to stop on by and grab some good lunch.
And backed by popular demand, our shred truck's going to be here.
Hey, that's always a good thing.
On-site shredding.
Yes.
You nervous about some documents? They will be destroyed right here in front of you.
All right. Unless you know you're not supposed to have them, then you don't want to get them shredded.
Okay.
Right?
Hang on to the important ones. Don't just, willy-nilly here. So that's fun. We've got our some great giveaways, but also this year, and this was something, I hadn't had a lot of experience with this, but I did try this recently on a camping trip. We were raffling off a Blackstone flat top grill today.
Ooh.
And I did a little breakfast cooking on one recently. It was a friend's, and I loved it.
All right.
And I'm not eligible for this. It will be an attendee and not a First Federal family member winning this thing. So you ought to come and get your name written down for this raffle because they're nice. I like them, and I may need to put it. Look for one of those here in town and get one. So. All right. Well, we love serving everybody. This is one of our favorite days of the year, and we do understand. Without the support of the Fulton County community, we would not be an operating and thriving business here in Rochester. So we are so appreciative. We love showing our appreciation, and that's going to be occurring all day today. After this radio show, we're going to go make sure everything is set up and ready to roll, 11 to 2. You see the Coke wagon out there in front of the bank. That's always a good sign.
Yeah. I drove by and saw that this morning.
That's right. Okay, this is happening.
Yep.
So we invite the community to come see us today. 57 years we've been serving the community for banking needs and home loans, and we love doing it. So thank you very much. Okay, great. Junk food.
Yeah.
You asked that earlier.
Randy's question of the day is, it is junk food day. What is your favorite junk food?
I really love ice cream. I don't know if that's considered junk food.
All right.
Dessert.
All right.
But there's a brand that my wife Emily introduced me to because it's from Cincinnati, where she's from. It's called Graeter's. I don't know if you've ever had it before. Graeter. They sell some pints of it at Kroger, so check that out. It's exceptionally good. So
all right.
That's what I would say. And if that didn't count, then pretzel rods are my favorite snacky food.
I can get behind that one.
Yeah. Or string cheese.
Or string cheese. Yeah.
Or both.
Combined all three.
That's right. Okay, we've got some First Federal trivia this morning.
All right.
It's also WRI trivia.
Okay.
And we're not giving multiple choice this morning.
Oh!
Okay, what year did WROI and First Federal Savings Bank begin our Friday morning radio show? As far as the records show that we have.
Okay.
A year. We're just looking for a year. You got a lot to choose from, but
yeah.
Also you probably have a general idea, so I think you got a good shot at this even without choices.
I'm trying to think back because I know Tom and Dick talked about the year that it started, so I'm trying to think back to the last.
I can see the wheels turning.
All right.
This is fun. Okay.
I'll think about it throughout the show.
All right. Well, I'm excited for you, just so you know.
Yes. No clues. No clues.
Okay.
None here.
We've got some fun First Federal guests this morning, so
yeah,
we're looking forward to some good chats with some First Federal family members you probably know, or if you don't, you'll have a chance to get to know them a little bit more this morning. But first,
yes,
sports. Tanner.
Good morning. Yes, not a lot going on in the sports world. It's kind of that dead period right before football starts, school starts. But baseball's ongoing, of course, and then golf's got their fourth and final major tournament going on, which, if you're a golf fan, you might be watching right now because it's on. It's the Open Championship, or the British Open, as I'm always going to call it. And last time I checked, Brian Harman was 4 under par through 12 holes. Exactly. 4 under par through 12 holes this morning for 8 under. For his total score, he has a 3-shot lead over the field. But as in any golf tournament, that can change pretty quickly, especially this one when you get some wind, some rain involved.
Mm-hmm.
This one's like carnival golf.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just really.
It's who can maintain the elements the best.
I'd say visually, it's usually not that exciting of
Right.
visual colors and scenery, but in terms of the funny golf play,
Yeah.
it's good.
In the forecast this week, especially Sunday, looks pretty horrid for the golfers. Rain,
Yeah.
wind,
Yeah.
get the rain suits out, get low ball flight. But we'll see who comes out on top. Not a lot of heavy hitters in the top 15 right now, but like I said, that could change by the end of the day. So keep an eye on that.
We had a big sports first in our family this week.
What's that?
Alice and Drew got to go to their first Cubs game.
Oh, very
Hey.
fun.
Yeah, and Todd warned me. He said, "No, you're gonna get them hooked on Cubs early for a lifetime of
Are you sure you
disappointment."
want to do this?
Yeah, is this really a fatherly thing to do? I thought about that a lot, but in my great desire to get back up there again, myself.
Did the Cubs win?
They did.
All right.
Hey, that
There
always
you go.
helps when you go and they win.
Yep, we witnessed the Grand Slam. We got our picture taken with the World Series trophy from 2016. It is real. I verified that.
That's
And
a fun day.
we got to, one of the ushers let us put on his World Series ring and get some pictures.
That's cool.
Because they all got those.
That's cool.
And they were just super friendly. So we had a great time. They actually, Alice and Drew looked so good and were so well behaved, they got upgraded to right behind the dugout for the last couple innings.
Wow.
Wow.
And got to see a big Grand Slam from Nico Horner.
What an experience.
I know. So we're riding high on that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, they're for sure set up for a lifetime this week. That'll never happen again. The first time will be their best.
Well, the Cubs are sitting with a record of 45-51. Only 8.5 games out of the NL Central League maintained by the Milwaukee Brewers. First time I've been able to say that in a while. Because the Cincinnati Reds are 52-46, 2.5 games behind the Brewers. They're slipping a little bit, but still, I have to eat crow for talking bad about the Reds 2 months ago, and now
Yeah.
they're playing really well. And the Cardinals and NL Central 44-53, 10 games behind the Brewers, but they're not in last anymore. That's in the Central. That's the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are way too familiar with that in the last decade or so.
First to last.
And the AL Central, your Cleveland Guardians, Paul, are 47-49, 2 games behind the Twins. You got the Tigers at 44-52, only 5 games behind the Twins. And the White Sox 41-57, 9 games behind the Twins. And you also got the Royals, who only have 28 wins. And then the A's in the AL West, who only have 27 wins. So you got some pretty putrid records out there, too, around
Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah.
So,
That's going to help Cleveland a lot.
trade deadline's coming up, so we'll see a lot of teams starting to make some moves. We'll see who's buyers, sellers, pretenders, contenders, that sort of thing.
Never be satisfied with your squad. That's the
Never be
name of the
satisfied.
Yeah.
always tweak.
Will Shohei Ohtani be moved? I think is the biggest question because the Angels, he's not going to re-sign there, so they might as well try to get something
There's
for him.
only a couple places.
Yeah, there's only a couple
That would
places
pay.
that can at least afford him past the rental of this year.
Yeah.
I know the Tampa Bay Rays are in consideration. That'd be great for a rental. They'd be all in, but he would be worth more than their franchise going forward. So I don't think they could afford him after this year. So. Well, that's all I got for sports talk this morning, but I brought a few tidbits with me.
Okay.
Alright.
On this day in 1853, Central Park in New York City was created.
Oh,
iconic.
I did not think it was that old.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yes,
Took some good planning because they were limited on real estate there.
absolutely. On this day in 1987, Guns N' Roses debuted their album Appetite for Destruction,
Okay.
and it became the best-selling debut album of all time, with more than 30 million copies sold.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
You know?
Good tidbit.
And on this day in 2014, popular movie franchise Guardians of the Galaxy premiered in Hollywood.
And not
Los
long
Angeles.
ago.
I know.
Wow.
And now I don't even know what number they're on anymore.
3.
3.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like more than that, really. But
Yeah.
Just making it up as they go.
yeah. It does well every time they come out with a new one.
Yes, it does.
And today is National Junk Food Day, as
Yeah.
Steve and Randy both mentioned with Randy's question of the day. It's also National Lamington, I believe is how you pronounce that day. It's an Australian cake made from squares of butter cake or sponge cake coated in an outer layer of chocolate sauce and rolled in coconut.
That's somebody's favorite junk food.
Somebody out there.
Yeah.
And it's also National Be Someone Day.
Okay.
To be somebody today, Paul.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Tanner.
You're welcome.
Got a couple upcoming events. Times Theater is showing Tom Petty Tribute Band tomorrow.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think there's a few tickets remaining, but I'm not sure. You might want to contact the Times Theater, check out the next. I know they were pretty close to a sellout, so
I went to a Tom Petty concert once, believe it or not. It was really fun. It was a good one. So this sounds really good.
yeah,
Doors open at 6:30 if you can get a ticket.
yeah, and they'll be performing right on the first federal stage.
That's awesome. Okay, also, we've got a golf outing coming up for a good cause. Tell us about that.
Yeah, next Saturday is the 11th annual Fulton County Habitat for Humanity golf outing. There's still spots available if you want to get a team in. A team of 4 players costs $250. But you can contact myself or any other Habitat for Humanity board member. We can get you more information or we can get you signed up. Registration will be at 8 o'clock next Saturday with a tee off at 9 o'clock, and that's at the Roundhorn Golf Club at Mill Creek here in Rochester. So looking for a good day next Saturday. It's always a fun fundraiser. It's the biggest fundraiser for Fulton County Habitat for Humanity that we hold every year. So looking forward to a good day of golf.
And housing is one of our most important community needs. So it's exciting what Habitat for Humanity has been doing over the last couple of decades here in Fulton County, and they've helped a lot of families with some shelter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great cause. Hope you maybe want to play some golf and do it for a good reason. All right, money news. I was thinking, money news, it's probably not that exciting. The stock market's been like going crazy this year.
Yeah.
So the Dow Jones, its 9th winning day in a row, longest rally since 2017, its highest close since 2022. What's that tell you, Paul?
Things are looking good in the market.
Until they're not. No, I'm sorry. No. Knock on wood here. You never know what's happening there, but there's some good sentiment. That's what tells you. Psychology's good about the way, maybe the way earnings came in for companies and things like that. So, big money news: the Washington Commanders sale football team was approved by the owners.
About time.
Record price of $6 billion for that franchise. See, that just shows you can mismanage a franchise and still sell it for huge profits.
Yeah, it passed the Broncos sale from 2 years ago, which was $4.5 billion, which set a record at the time. So
it's a lot higher.
Yeah,
It's
a lot.
50% higher.
I know. So yeah, Daniel Snyder out. So that's probably
You're
good.
smiling. That's
yeah,
good.
he wasn't one of my favorites. Let's put it that way.
Okay. I can understand why. Well, thanks, Tanner.
You're welcome.
All right, this morning we're going to do things a little bit differently, Paul.
Okay.
We got our blue shirts on. You'll recognize these when you come for lunch today. We'll be wearing them so everyone can identify us and know we're here to help you. But we're going to be interviewing a few of our management team today.
Okay.
And we're going to start with AJ Bozzo. AJ, come over here.
Sure.
We need to adjust the mic here.
No problem. Good morning.
So we're getting all excited about Customer Appreciation Day, but tell us what you do at First Federal for us.
I am the Vice President of Mortgage Lending. Been in that position for about 8 years now. Started back with First Federal back about 10 years, back in 2013.
In First Federal days, you're still a youngin' then, 8 years.
I'm still young.
Vic's got the record with 56, I think.
Absolutely.
So we got a ways to go.
Absolutely. But an old friend, Jim Snyder, called me, and that was when they were starting to come out with all the new regulations.
Ugh, a lot of new regulations at that time.
And Jim asked for my help because of the workload that this was creating for all lenders. So I jumped at the opportunity to come back and jump on board and be part of the team.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning here. You grew up in your formative years, we'll call them, in Rochester here. Tell us how you got here and a little bit about that.
Well, it was 51 years ago. I was 3. Not that I'm old or anything.
Tanner's doing the math right now.
My mom and dad, in the day, brought us here. Dad was coming into town to work the production line at Rochester Homes, and we never left. Mom started shortly thereafter with First Federal Savings Bank.
It's in the family.
It's in the family. So I grew up with First Federal, and I went to school with Nancy Belcher, grew up with the Belchers. So it was an easy decision to be part of the
That's
family.
great.
And just the community that we saw. I eventually, in college years, went away for college. I went to Elkhart. I lived in Granger. When I had my son back 18 years ago, happy birthday, Robert, July 17th. Happy birthday.
You made it, buddy.
Absolutely. My decision was to come back to Rochester and live here back about 15, 16
That says a lot right there.
There's no better place to raise a family.
I agree.
We love this community, and we're happy to be part of it.
Thanks, AJ. All right, so Jim gave you a call. Obviously, you are First Federal family member from a young lad, we'll say.
Yes.
We don't talk about the number of years anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But you had some mortgage experience coming in when you came back and joined the First Federal family. Talk about some of those up and down housing times that you've been through and your mortgage experience particularly.
I've seen it all, but I have to say what we're going through now might be a little bit different of the scenario.
Unique.
I'll get to that. It's a unique time frame for us. But I've been through the huge purchase years where there's a bunch of inventory on the market, and the buyers had their pick of the litter.
That's right.
And they could come in and say, I want this house for $50,000 under list and get it. I've seen it the other way around when there's no inventory on the market, and it's very hard to find housing. I've been through the refinance years when the rates have been 7 and 8 and dropped down to 3.5. So I've seen it all. The big building booms, a lot of construction. I was a mortgage broker for a long period of time, so yes, been in the mortgage side of things for many, many years, and I've seen a lot of turmoil. I've seen a lot of great opportunities, and we always have to keep in mind that real estate is one of the best investments in the United States.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's hard not to say that any time is not a good time to buy.
That's a good point. You know, it's the most significant wealth building tool that an individual has.
Correct.
Over time, when considered over your lifetime of owning a home, and we love that part of it at First Federal. Let's swing and talk about that a little bit. You know, you've just shared your great experience, and we're talking with AJ Bozzo, First Federal's Vice President of Mortgage Lending. Let's talk about a little bit. Okay, First Federal Savings Bank. That's kind of our specialty for 57 years in mortgage lending. How are we a little bit different than some of the places that you've seen or competed against? What makes First Federal unique in home lending?
We are absolutely unique because we're not your typical bank. What I always like to think of First Federal as is more of a mortgage brokerage that has banking behind it. Other banks do auto loans, credit cards, a lot of installment loans. They're diversified into a lot of different areas. First Federal has never been built that way or wanted to go that direction. Our bread and butter is helping people achieve that American dream of home ownership.
Yep, you're right.
And that is what we do on a daily basis is try and get people into their homes to help families in our communities. Just that mindset is what sets us apart from everybody else.
And we've got a special mortgage promotion going on. Give us just the highlights on what it is that our special is doing right now.
Well, our special is to help in some closing costs. We have a program that if you come in and apply through the end of August, and you have a loan amount over $200,000, we'll give you a $1,250 lender credit to help with your closing costs. If it's under $200,000, it's $750 to help towards your closing costs. And again, that's just our way of helping through these harder times of finding a home and to helping your costs getting into your home. We're always looking for opportunities to help our customers, though that's our special right now. That does not mean that we don't have other programs that will help you with debt consolidation, pulling out some equity of your home, and keeping your first lien intact. We have a great HELOC and a closed-end second program right now. So please do talk to Ben Dalton, Stacy Wilson here locally. They are our LOs that are here to assist you and help you.
Hey, thanks AJ for joining us. Great to have you share a little bit more about your background. Thanks for what you're doing for us.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, and everybody have a great day. We're really excited to see everybody today at the event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Jodi Wynn.
Morning.
Welcome.
Not quite as tall, I have to readjust that.
Okay. Jodi Wynn. All right. Tell us what your role is at First Federal, Jodi.
Sometimes I'm not sure, but no, I am the Vice President of Retail and Deposit Operations. So that basically means all of our lobbies and anything to do with your checking, savings, accounts, debit cards, online banking. I've got a great team that works with me on that.
Sounds like another big job here. We're really rolling through the responsibilities between you and AJ. All right. You grew up in the Rochester community, and your parents have served the community for a long time as well. Tell us what that was like, growing up in a family with parents involved with the public.
Absolutely. So I grew up here in Rochester. My mom was a teacher at Columbia and Riddle for her entire career, and my dad was the water department superintendent. I happen to be related to a guy that tends to be on the radio a lot here, too.
Yeah. We'll excuse you for that.
Our dads were twins, and actually his dad was the counterpart of the street department. So a lot of people knew me and him growing up, and a lot of the questions I always got, well, which one's your dad? Water would be my dad.
Water.
So I've always been here and been around here. I went away for college, but came back, and I've always wanted to be here and happy to be here and be serving the community that I live in.
I bet you know a lot of faces that come in the First Federal door.
I do. For a long time.
That's great. Okay, well, let's think about your banking background.
My journey. I started actually at 18 years old. It kind of fell in my lap. Someone came and I worked at a different bank that was here local. Worked with them as a summer teller through college and went with them full time after I graduated. But it was in North Manchester. And while that was great, I had done that for a couple years. My ultimate goal was to live and work in the same community because it's really hard to not do that. And so it's great to know the people and to have those relationships. So an opportunity came along almost 20 years ago. So
we're getting
I've got
close.
Some seniority on that one, right?
Here we go. You got it on all of us.
Yeah, almost 20 years ago. And I came and started at the bank as the deposit manager, so kind of ran the teller line. And it kind of moved up from there and just kept growing and served a lot of roles. And it's always been the deposit area.
Any notable changes in banking in the almost 20 years that you've been at First Federal?
When I started as a teller way back then, we didn't have debit cards. Those weren't a thing.
Wow.
I mean, that's just crazy. Online banking
Tanner's
wasn't
really
a thing.
He didn't know that. He thought those existed since the
online banking wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
ATMs weren't popular. And so we've seen that evolution of technology, I think, has been the biggest thing. Now we have a whole department dedicated to electronic banking services because we have so much need for that.
And I think that's made banking fun working in that environment, but also really convenient for customers. They've taken to that really well.
I remember the early days when I learned to be a teller, there were no computers. We just had one computer for all the tellers that you maybe might look something up, but you didn't have that real-time access.
I've seen pictures of that. I didn't experience that myself either. Well, that's
definitely technology on the customers and on the bank side.
All right, so you're overseeing the deposit area. We've got a lot of customers in that area as well. And so what are some reasons why our customers choose us for checking and savings?
I think that they choose us because we have some great products. We have it's called Simply Free Checking Account. There's no minimum balance, no monthly service charge. And not everybody can say they've got those products. We try to keep that in mind and make the barriers to entry very simple, low opening deposits, and you get a gift when you open a checking account with us.
So you don't have to jump through hoops to avoid a fee? That's
and Paul,
great.
I know, always loves to see what gifts we're giving away.
Oh, yeah.
We win next week, so see what Tanner comes up with next
if
week.
he remembers to bring it in.
I heard you were the influence behind the
the shady fruit tumblers. Yes. Those are my pick.
Well, we try to have a lot of fun serving customers, and we definitely do that in the deposit area also. We've got a special going on for
we
savings
do have
accounts.
a really exciting
Savings.
special right now. CDs, for a long time, have not been great because when AJ's got these low mortgage rates, I can't offer any high deposit rates. So
is that how that works?
That does work that way, but as the market's been changing, we are able to offer some great CD rates. And right now we have a 10-month CD at 5.1% APY. It's incredible because a savings account's like 0.03. So
that's a big rate.
It's a big rate and really exciting.
Are we prepared to give that much money out?
Absolutely.
Okay, Jodi, you heard it here. I'm a little nervous about that. That's a lot of money. Yeah, well, we can probably open those special CDs up today.
We can open today, and we'll have it next week too. Because it's been going. So if you're just coming for lunch today, that's fine. We'll stop and see Terry and get an appointment for next week.
Thank you, Jodi. We've been talking with Jodi Wynn, our Vice President of Deposits, Retail, and Operations. Thank you so much for all you do for our customers. Next, keep the train rolling here. Good morning.
Paul.
Good morning,
Todd, Wynn,
Todd.
Sickel.
Thank you for having me on today.
You're known here in the radio community.
Yeah.
You're on
I kind of like this. Is a lot of fun. It was kind of intimidating at first, but it's just a good time to spend some time with Paul and talk with community guests.
You've been on the interviewee side of the desk too a few times with United Way and other things. So we're going to test you out here and see if you can hold up under the intense questioning.
Hopefully I'm up to the task.
First, we want you to tell our listeners about your role at First Federal. Just remind everybody some of the things that you do.
Operations and technology, strategic planning. So I kind of help Jodi a lot. We work together very closely. Work with AJ, trying to figure out what needs they have and how we can bring technology into the bank and how we can better serve our customers.
It sounds like a pretty exciting list of job duties.
Been doing this for about 40 years now.
Wow, hey, okay.
Not at First Federal.
That's all right. That's all right. So, thinking of that, you didn't grow up here in Rochester, so tell us a little bit about
Kokomo, Indiana, with Indiana University.
Kokomo was like one of the big cities for us growing up here in Rochester.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big city. I mean, my dad moved there in the late 50s with a GM and had a great life there. And as I was a youngster, I'd take my dad's change and put it like in a pickle jar. And so occasionally it would add up to something, maybe 2 inches of coin.
Yeah.
So I'd walk down to the Forest Park Shopping Center where First National Bank was at, and I took my pennies there and opened an account with passbook savings, actually. And so that's how I first became interested in banking. Was that it looked like a pretty cool place. Everybody was nice, respectful, dressed nice, it seemed like. And as I learned more about banking going on through high school and in my college career, it's a place where I felt I could help people out because you're talking about people's money. Sometimes people don't know the right things to do.
Right.
How to apply for a mortgage loan, things like that.
It can give a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah. So I wanted to be kind of a bridge to that anxiety and help them get better acquainted with the bank and figure out how we can help meet their needs.
That's an awesome reason to be in banking. I think that's true for a lot of us. It's fun to serve. Everybody needs banking services. So it's a broad section of the community we can serve. Okay.
So while I was at IU, then I went back to that same bank where I opened my passbook savings and applied for a summer teller. And what I think is kind of interesting about First Federal Savings Bank, Jodi was a summer teller, you were a summer teller, I was a summer teller.
There's no better job, is there?
Yeah. Teller is one of the most important jobs because that's really the face of the bank to the customers. Because they don't know kind of I exist in the back of the room.
That's true. it's a fun job because of that reason. You can really impact someone's day for the positive, and what you're doing is really important to them. So it's really interesting. I really enjoyed it too.
Good.
All right, tell us about your family now.
Wife Sharon had 2 kids, grown and out of the house, one in Indianapolis, one in Boulder, Colorado. I have 2 grandsons. Came to Rochester about 7 years ago, exactly 7 years ago, 2016. I have known you, Evan, through some trade vendor associations.
Banking
Banking
groups. Yep,
and,
that's right.
We just started talking, and it seemed like there might be a fit there, and moved here in 2016, and happily ever after.
Hey, that's a great story. All right, so thinking about your lots of experience, you mentioned the number, 40 years. Okay.
It's a full-time job. That doesn't count the summer cover.
Okay, we're shortchanging you then. Is there anything in particular that's had a big impact on your success in banking, Todd? You've been at it a good while here.
I think the main idea of banking is it can be rather complicated sometimes, but you can't make it too complicated. You need to keep it simple. And, all the banks are independent, and a lot of my best ideas come from other bankers I've met over the years.
That's true.
And working with vendors, because you need to be open-minded and listen to what they have to offer, listen to what the customer's needs are, and see what technology solutions are out there. And that's what's really changed over the years. When I started as a summer teller, we got balances off of ledger cards. You would call the downtown office if somebody wanted to cash a check.
Oh my.
Evan wants to cash $100
That's
checks.
horrible.
So you call this group of people that were sitting around a round table. They looked up and say, "Yeah, Evan has $100 in his account. You can give it to him."
Green light, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Then we graduated into microfiche.
Let's skip over that one.
Yeah.
What next?
Now we're full service. I mean,
That's great.
We have great information online. That's really the biggest change now.
I like being able to get my information myself. I think that's what's neat about banking now.
Self-serve all the time. Jodi has a saying. Remind me what it is. Anytime.
Oh, meet the customer where they're at.
And meet the customer where they're at. That's a great saying from Jodi Wynn. That means we need to have services available if a customer wants to log in, at 5 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock at night. They may be out on the road with an ATM. They want to be able to get some money out of an ATM without a surcharge. So we're always trying to meet the customer where they're at. And we're rolling out 2 or 3 new things each year to try to do that. And we've got a great roadmap of some things coming up.
Well, thank you, Todd, for your leadership on those things. I know we could talk for hours on several other topics, so we'll just have to have you back on this side of the desk again sometime soon.
Anytime, we'd be happy to.
Thanks so much for what you're doing at the bank and keeping everybody organized, working together on, you think banking is kind of a static thing that's been around forever. It changes so much, and I think that's what makes it so enjoyable for us to try to learn, stay on top of that, and deliver great service.
And that's what's great about First Federal Savings Bank here in Rochester is we have a great team, and everybody's working together. We're family, and we try to help each other out to help serve the customer better.
Well, thanks so much. I want to thank AJ, Jodi, and yourself, Todd, for joining us this morning and taking a little bit of time and sharing about yourselves and your backgrounds. You guys do a great job leading our First Federal Savings Bank for our customers and this community and our other communities. So, just a reminder, all our listeners out there invited to our Community Appreciation Day today. 11 to 2 is when we're serving lunch. We've got great giveaways, our shred truck, and a nice raffle. A Blackstone flat top grill. I think that'd look great at your house, Paul.
Yeah. I might just have to put my name in there and cross my fingers.
We'd love to see everybody today and to serve you for a very special day. Should be great weather, and we know we wouldn't be in business without each of you, and we're wanting to show you that appreciation and thank you today. Okay, trivia.
All right.
What year did WRY and First Federal Savings Bank begin our Friday morning radio show, Paul?
All right. Now, I know because this is one of the first things Dick ever told me, that it never originally started as a program. It started as live commercials.
I knew he was going to do that to you. That is correct.
They'd come in and him and Tom would talk about what was going on at the bank, and then
That's right.
It evolved from there. Now, I can't remember if, I think Tom and Sue took over in 92. So, they had a couple years under their belt, 94, 95.
94. That's amazing. Look at this, the encyclopedia. You never forget anything anyone tells you. That's amazing.
Well, it's the things that are important from
This stick?
people.
Oh, that's neat to say. Well, 1994 is the correct year that our live commercial / radio programs began with Dick and Tom, and we're all benefiting from that decision and enjoy doing this together. So,
Yes.
shout out to both of them and their families, and we are looking forward to today with our Community Appreciation Day. Let's end the show with these words of wisdom from an American designer, Donna Karan. Delete the negative and accentuate the positive.
Those are great words of wisdom. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next Friday, and enjoy your Customer Appreciation Day.
Thanks, Paul.